All right, this is a quick video of, well, not quick, we'll see how long it takes, but I've already started tearing into the car, but replacing my positive battery cable, and I'll replace the negative also. I did purchase new cables, so this is the new harness. Connects to the alternator and then connects up to the fuse box. Then you have some you have several clips that are already pre-installed. This is a push clip, so this one is next to the alternator. It just slides in there, and to get these released, this one was particularly difficult. You got to push back on the little tab. You see the little tab right there? You push back on it. So the metal clip effectively slides in there, and you just kind of pull back on away from the wire, I guess. And then you have these little clips. The best way to get these off, these are connected to the air box. The best way to release these clips is to get a socket and push from the underside. And then, as you can see, the tabs are gonna go in. No, I don't take ownership of this technique from, I saw this from, I forgot a guy's name, something automotive. Man, I'm really bad with names. How to Automotive. I saw him do this, and you can see when you depress, it presses in those ends, and as you can see, this thing will even fit all the way over it. This is a 6 mil. You just don't want to lose it in the process of doing that. And then that. So I'm also going to replace the ground. The ground is good. So the issue with my cabling is that, well, the protective red guard broke off for the positive terminal, but also you can see my thing is pretty much stretched. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's deformed. It's not holding tight. The ground still holds pretty tight, and the ground is pretty easy. It's just connected right here. But I kind of walk you through to get off the positive battery terminal. First, you're gonna remove. Well, let's look at this. So I bought this. I called my local Acura, and they said $70 for just a positive cable. And this is from Acura Parts Online or something. List price is that, net price is that, so the amount I pay is the net price. And the top cable is the positive cable, the bottom cable is the charging cable. And here's the part number for the ground, and here's the part number for the positive cable. So I mean, you can almost compare them and see that they're pretty much the same part numbers on the receipt. So came with that. So the first thing you want to do, since I've never done this before, I kind of tinkered my way through it to lessen the video. Obviously, remove your little battery cover here if you have it installed. It locks in that position, and then you twist it, and then it unlocks it, and you can pop it off. So remove that. Try to remember everything I did. Try to get this tripod out of the way briefly. Naturally, these cars have a lot of stuff in the way, so after you remove that, then you want to, well, I went ahead and disconnected my battery terminals. That's what I did. So I just disconnected these 10 millimeters, positive in the ground. If your car has a code, you want to make sure you have the code, else you can, you know, you're gonna have to reset your navigation system or something. And this is a 2008 Acura TL Type S, so it should be relative for those years, 2005 to 2008, I want to say, TLs. Probably same for Hondas and everything else. So disconnect that. Disconnect it from your battery terminal posts. So just a note, I always save these for new batteries, just so I can, you know, not make contact with them accidentally. So we have that, and then you want to remove remove your hold down. So this sits over the battery terminal, and you just want to undo them some, and then remove the J hooks. The J hooks, they literally just clamp. They literally just hook into these little divots right here. So that's where those J hooks sit. Remove that. Take out your battery. Of course, this thing sits over the battery. There's a part of the harness here, so this thing sits in here like this, and then obviously your harness here clamps into it right here. So you want to unclip that. Just pop it out. It's really easy. I lost a 10 millimeter, so I took out this, the battery box. So that comes out. There's a bracket right here. You can see it. There's this bracket right here. You can either remove the tab if the tab is giving you trouble, like this one. Like I was saying, you just so here's a tab. You see the tab, you want to push back on it, and then because I only have one hand, I don't want to drop this thing in there. But if you were supposed to push back, you can separate it like that. So this tab is it just sits right here with a screw, so you can remove this and then remove that also, however you please, to get that out. So we'll put that back in there. And then there's a tab. There's another one of those push tabs. Just try to get some light. There's another push tab right here, and it just connects to this bracket right here. You see my finger touching it. So again, find that tab and pull on it to spread it, and then it opens up. There's a hose right here that it kind of swivels. It connects your two radiator lines, and it's just a plastic like clip, and you can see it. You can see it clipping on, rotating right there, and you just push it down. You can see where it has made the grooves in there. You just push it apart. You don't have to remove any of that. And then to access the cable back here, you see the tab right there. This is a 12 millimeter. Pretty much, you're just looking at this end of it right here. That's a 12 millimeter. You just take that off. So mine is still in place. So you take that off. Those are the clips down there. And then here's the clip I was talking about using the 10 millimeter. So they clip right here into the box. There's two spots. You can see the next spot, back there, 1, 2. And that's where you use that 10 millimeter to get these little push clips out of there. I recommend undoing these 8 millimeter bolts for your engine air filter. Recommend removing the filter also. Removing the filter, and then this just gives you a little bit more wiggle way, especially to reach the second little thing, the second little clip on the opposite end of this box is back here. And then just trace your wire. Next thing you want to do, you're going to find that it comes up onto here, the fuse box. So the fuse box is really simple. Sits like that, and then you got these little tabs. You just push, you just pinch inwards and lift up, and then this comes off. Additionally, I took off this little plastic cover back here. That comes back here, and these are just push tabs. You just pull forward towards the interior of the engine, and that unit comes off on this side that covers the power steering, not power steering, but the brake fluid, sorry. And that's pretty much all you need to take off. So now we're gonna do the reverse install of this whole thing. So this is gonna be real time with my struggles. Like I said, I lost a 10mm. I can't find it, so I'm gonna give up on it for now and just get this thing reinstalled. I got a new battery. The battery was acting up. The battery was supposedly really bad. So I figured I'd get a charging cable to replace it, just because the one I have was stretched. So we're gonna remove this old one completely. I'm gonna transfer to my auto tripod and get this show on the road as far as the reinstall goes. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but just didn't get around to doing it. So the plan is just to remove, try to get this tripod situated as best as I can. So I'm gonna get in here and I'm just gonna remove that the positive end, and I'll keep the new one as an example. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just getting in there and peeling this thing back. It's already peeled back on this one, it's split backwards, and removing this 12mm. That's all I'm doing. Also, I recommend using if you got to use a socket, use one with a lock-in extension, just so you don't run the risk of losing a socket like I did when I was doing that battery install. So yeah, I got my ratchet with a 12mm in there, and I'm just gonna push that radiator hose to the side. And I don't want to lose this. It's kind of nerve-wracking after you've lost something in the engine bay already. You definitely don't want to lose anything else. Aha. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to lose this guy. This will be hard to find. If you have a little magnetic tray, just throw that in there. It sits well on the car. And then we're gonna try to get this thing installed. You know, if you're unfamiliar with stuff, just take a look at it and see how it was installed before. So this kind of sits down in a little groove. There we go. We've already disconnected. So, like I said, it just sits down. It has a little key on it. It just sits down in there on the stud, and then this little thing just clamps over it when you're done. So, here's a little push wrap. So that's a little push tab that I'm saying you want to pull away from the wire. Just go that direction. So there we go. To open it up to get it undone from that little bracket. And the same thing applies to this one. So we're gonna go on the opposite side of the camera. Like I said, I've already disconnected most of those. This is a And basically, what I've used is 10 millimeter. I've used 8, 10, and 12, and a number 3 screwdriver. For the snorkel box, you can use a screwdriver, but really, you don't necessarily need a screwdriver if you have like an 8 millimeter. But sometimes these things are tight, and you, oh no, ooh, damn it. Whoa. See? Just undid this from the, what do you call it? I was undoing it from this fuse box, and it fell. And luckily I heard it fall on the floor. So. And then this just pops. As far as releasing it, let's see if I can. You'll see me attempt to release it. All I did was remove it from right here. Screwdriver's on it. Remove it from right there, and then this thing just pulls forward. At least should. Just pull. There you go. Just pulls forward. So basically the L shape on it, which I'll show you here. This little L, it has a little key, so just pay attention and how that fits in there, and it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. This is my first time doing it, so if I can do it, you can do it. And you just fish it out. And this is my my old terminal cable. As you can see, not sure if you can really see it. It's kind of stretched. It's kind of all wonky. So we'll get the next one routed in. Now, is there a good way to do this? Well, there's a right and a wrong way for sure. So we'll ensure that these are fished under the box here. Tap to refocus. Make sure those are fished onto the box. And it goes somewhere up under the fuse box here, and it comes up. Just gotta grab it. Come on. Actually making this more difficult than it needs to. So I'm not certain how much a job like this would cost, say if you took it to the dealership. Yeah, I really don't know how much a job of this simplicity. I say simplicity, but it does require a little bit of getting your hands all scratched up. So next we're gonna reinstall this this nut. Sorry, it doesn't really focus that well. But anyway, I'm just gonna screw this back in. Like I said, it's an 8mm, but it doesn't have to be locked tight. It just needs to be snug. And that will do it. Actually a little bit cockeyed for my taste. But that's expected. All right, so that's connected to the fuse box. Since we're doing stuff, whoa, what's up? Hi, how are you? How was school? How was school? I'm working on the car. Next, we're just pretty much doing this stuff in reverse. Just so we don't miss anything. Next, I'm just gonna install my filter, engine air filter. It's relatively clean. Definitely needs to either be blown out or something. We'll knock it out for now. This stuff is keyed, so it only fits one way. Before we put this in though, it might help. Those little, let's use the old one. So again, working back from the, if I come and knock this stuff over. Working back from where you connect to the fuse box. Now we're at these two little tabs right here. So I'm gonna try to connect these to the air box before I get my filter in. And that's where you use that 6mm to push on these to undo them. So we are gonna try to connect those before, first we gotta locate them. This thing is notoriously, not difficult, but notoriously just annoying to work with, just because it's come on. Should be a matter of just popping these in. See, I was trying to push it from the bottom, but you push them in from the top. And coming from the manufacturer, these are spaced conveniently apart to where you don't really have to adjust them very much. Cairo? Hey, leave that alone. You might have to twist them a little bit just to get it to better align. Come on. Good. And I need some light. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So they literally just pushing from the top. Those two little clips. So we're just, like I said, we're just trying to ensure that we get everything done correctly by doing it in reverse. And I'm happy with those two little clips. Like I showed you, next, like I said, this filter is keyed for this box. Kind of pop it in. And this is notoriously, be careful you don't really pinch yourself in the process of trying to install this box. I might have dorked up this filter. Yeah, I had it the correct way. Cairo? All right, so now that that kind of high is in place, we can again muscle this ear scoop, as I like to call it, in place. A lot of the stuff automotive is just like Cairo. I know when you go silent, you're always doing something. Like I said, these are these screws right here are 10 millimeters, or that's 8 millimeters, but I've broken one before, and yeah, you can run these in with a driver or something. There's 4 screws, so I'm gonna leave the tripod hanging up here, and I'm just gonna get these in there real quick. I have electric tools, but sometimes we over tighten stuff using electric tools. It's faster. Cairo, hey, get up, 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 up. Hey, Cairo, up, up, up. Yeah, we over tighten stuff using electrical tools. So simple hold down on this box does not require. Cairo, a huge amount of torque. So I apologize that this video might be long for those who might say, oh, it's easy. It is easy, but sometimes people edit out valuable information. So I've got that connected in the back. It's routed down. It's not interfering with anything. It's clipped in. And now the battery would get connected right here. And now it's time to... Cairo, hey, come here, inside. Why are you going to the street? Come on, come on. Come on, inside. You need to go inside. Go inside, inside, inside. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye, love you. Kids. So now we're gonna get this routed. First, we're gonna put it on the well, first I'm gonna get this. I'm just gonna get this clip on. I'm gonna get this clipped in, and then I'm gonna install this. And there's just a bracket down there that you just slide it on top. And it will make sense when you see it. And there we go. It makes a little click. It's barely audible, but that just tells you it's secure in place. And then we'll put this cable over. And then we got our bolt again, and then we'll put that on. Why are you always touching stuff and then expecting him not to touch, huh? So if you have a lock-in extension, that's good, but also if you have a magnetic socket, then you won't lose stuff like this. So let me try to do this by hand, just so I don't like cross thread, and also so I don't drop this thing. I'm confident that it's not cross threaded. It also has a little key on it, so can't mess it up. Pull this to the side, and we'll just snug this down. right. I don't know. Everyone that snugs something down always feels the need to like go back and just give it a little bit more snug. And that's what I did there. So that's on there. Guess I could have zoomed in. So I basically just pull this radiator hose back and install this fastener right here. That's all I did. Again, I'm showing you the old and new. And since I have the part here, when I say it's keyed, I mean it has this little tab on it. And it just fits down there. You just put that 12 millimeter back on there. And then put this dust boot over it, right? Don't forget that. And then you saw, so down in there, in fact, I don't have my light set up correctly. So it goes right there, and then there's that clip. And right, where is that? There's that clip down there. It's hard to see it. Maybe I can get some light in there. Yeah, so there's this clip that you hook onto. And then the dust boot, you just want to fold the dust boot back on top of the connector. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. So I like putting back stuff the way I found it. I don't like, I mean, yeah, I get it. People forget stuff and people break shit and don't put it back. So yeah, I'm confident that's connected. I'm confident that I got everything down there correct. I'm confident about what I'm doing about that. That's connected back, connected there. And now this little hose clip from the radiator. You see me like spinning it back and forth. You're gonna see where you removed it from. So mine has a little indentation, and it comes up from the bottom, if I remember correctly. So basically we'll just spin it around. We'll try not to break it because these parts are original to the car. So they're a 2008, that means it's pretty old and could be brittle. So one goes up and one goes down. The one on the inside faces upwards and the one on the outside faces downward, which makes sense, right? At least, kinda. I don't know, they might have been meant to be face downwards, who knows? Especially since, yeah, we'll just leave it as I found it. If this thing had gotten replaced at some point in time, they could have been facing downwards. But I think they counteract each other as far as the direction that they open. So that's back in place. Next thing that we're gonna do, let's see if I have it on camera, is no, I don't. So there's the second clip right there. It's gonna clip into the bracket that screws right into this hole right there. So this clip there's a bracket that goes right there. We're gonna snap that bracket back in. And this is this is a 10 millimeter, so I'll get my little 10 millimeter here. Get a bracket, get our socket, appropriate extension. And we're just gonna do this. Let's just put this over here for now. So here's the bracket. The bracket is also keyed. by keyed, you know what I'm talking about. It has a little tab right there that fits into the base of where the battery sits, and then this is where the clip slides in. The clip slides in there. So for the sake of not losing the unit, I'm gonna actually just clip this in. So that just clips in, and like I said, for the sake of not losing it, that's why for the sake of not losing the bracket, I'm just gonna clip it in place, and then I'll get my bolt here. I start it by hand. Try not to lose it. It doesn't have a nut at the bottom, by the way. It just threads into the frame. It stops. We'll snug it down and then ensure that it's actually snug, right? So that's how it looks when it's installed. So double check everything. Everything is connected. Everything is covered up. Now my battery terminal should go right here. So now everything is up and up. Next, I got this one little tab right here. You can see it, this one little connector, and it basically clips into the battery tray. There's a spot for it to clip into the battery tray. And then, so I'll show you the rest of it. I mean, the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. So next, I want to grab my old battery tray. And while I'm at it here, I'm just gonna, especially if you're working on your own car, it's always a personal desire of mine to clean up where you can. Professional BBI tools. I don't know. I've had this for a while. I typically have towel towels, but this one will work also. Really what I should have done was gone outside and hose this thing down. But since I'm not editing the video or anything, we're just gonna do this live right here. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. Like I said, if I wanted it perfect, I'll just take it outside and take it down. That's good enough. All right, voila. So these things has tabs in the bottom. And you can't really mess it up unless, I mean, it won't fit properly. So put that in there. And then when it's actually inside the tabs, it's gonna fit nicely. And I guess the best way to figure this out, it's just like this. This little piece right here fits the front. This fits the driver's side. Yeah, the front of the car faces the little opening. And it just literally drops in place. No thought required. No effort required. Next is our battery. So we're gonna get our little battery here. And we are gonna drop it in place. Like I said, this battery's new. Actually, before I do this, just to save on space and working room, I'm just gonna remove the ground cable. That's pretty simple. You can see it right there. Not anymore. Right there. I'm just gonna remove this. I don't know what size that is. What size is this? 10 millimeter. Just because of the awkward angle, we do not need an extension. And then I don't like typically leaving stuff in the engine bay, just because if you forget it, especially like stuff that's not really visible, then you run the risk of starting your car, stuff falling on the fan. And next thing you know, you got issues. So. Again, try not to lose stuff as you're undoing it. So all it is that guy and this guy. Like I said, this one was relatively good, it held, but might as well change it out. So see, we have two and they're pretty much the same. Again, we have a little keyway on there. Can't really mess it up, but what's up?
Daddy, a big dog.
There's a dog? There's a dog? You want a... Yes, it's a flashlight. You want a dog? Flashlight. Okay.
Don't worry, I can't eat up.
Don't worry what? Okay. Can you take the golf clubs back outside, please?
Bye.
Okay, can you see? You don't walk backwards, okay? Stand up. Nope, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Can you put that down and stand up?
Bye.
Okay, can you put that down first? Can you pick up the golf clubs and go back outside? Nope, pick them up. Why do you need all three of them? All right, well, he's here from daycare, so I expect this job to take a little bit longer. All right, we are grounded. And now I can fit this battery back in as intended. Now this is a new battery that came from warranty. Like I said, I keep these little covers on there. I keep these little covers on there just for the sake of ensuring that I don't make contact with a terminal unintentionally. And then I also have, well, I have these little anti-corrosive things on there. Fold that down. Red is red, green is green. We'll cover up this one until we're ready for it. Looks like might have to manhandle this little ground cable, but that's fine. It will eventually form a shape. While we're at it, just so we don't step on this fuse box cover, we're just gonna pop it back in. Like I said, these little clips, it just, yeah, it just pops into place. Give it a little tug. Make sure this, you can push outwards on the clip just to make sure they're seated. That's good. And while we're up there, we're just getting everything reinstalled, right? So while we're there, we're just gonna install this little trim piece here that covers the box. So it has these little tabs. You just want to make sure they're actually inserted. And then these little tabs, they have a little lip on them. You can see it. They should go back in place. But yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. Go back. How many times I'm gonna tell you to go leave that stuff alone? You're gonna get hurt. You wanna get hurt? You wanna get hurt? So this is supposed to have a little thing back here, but it obviously broke off. Carter, can you take Cairo back around there, please?
Hi.
And it's pretty self-explanatory how this thing fits. When I started working on my car, I replaced all of these because these all broke off and they were just sitting all cockeyed and crooked because, well, when people work on your car, they just, even a simple stab, they just break and they don't care about it. Next is the battery hold down, little plastic thing. Again, you have this this clip right here that the harness like clips into, and then you have this clip right here. So effectively, what you're looking at, basically where this yellow is. Effectively, that's where it should just slide in there. You can just pop it in. It pops in right there, and then this little guy right here, it goes from top. If I can show you, it just slides down in there, and this is where you use that 6 millimeter to push up from the bottom to pop it out. So we're gonna install this bad boy. In there, and then we're gonna snap this in place. That tells me it works, and then we're gonna snap this down, and that fits. And now our battery is where it needs to be, the positive and the ground. So effectively, if we look around, we shouldn't have any missing parts or pieces. And that's all that's left to do is to connect the battery. So fold your little thing here back, remove this bad boy, and now we should have a solid, actually, let's put on the J hook. That's what I'm forgetting. I apologize that this process is taking an hour, but I recommend watching for entertainment value or for the purpose of skipping ahead to whatever part you need to figure out. But I'm a DIYer who's doing this on my own time, and when this is done, I don't have time to go edit a video. So I apologize if I made some mistakes in pronunciation and or nomenclature, meaning parts. Because I do make those from time to time. Well, not from time to time, all the time. So, and then if I ever go back and watch my videos, I do notice that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to fish these J hooks into those little connectors or eyelets. There we go, that one is hooked. And then this bad boy over here, I just gotta find where it sits. My hands is not. I feel like this is definitely a cat and mouse game right here. All right, so after you get it hooked in place, you can run it down. You want to run them down in alternating fashion. I just undid this one. You don't want to run one down completely, and the next one is holding all the tension. Now they sit. It actually tells you. If you look right here, it says FR front with an arrow. So we might be able to get this done in an hour. We got a whopping 8 minutes remaining. So I noticed these brackets, they never fit perfectly. Partly because the batteries, batteries are different from your original OEM batteries, and basically anything after it leaves a factory. So you want to run this down till it's snug. Things that affect the life of your battery, obviously age, dust and all that stuff. So you want to clean up your battery, but also vibration. So it's important to keep your battery secure as tight as possible. Now you don't have to run this thing till it bends and all that stuff. You definitely don't want to. You definitely don't want your battery like moving around. Because then as it moves around, it's tugging on the battery cables, and then that's gonna cause problems. All right, so our battery is on there. Our J hooks, our battery hold down is on there, and we are just gonna get some. I held off on doing this. Oh, I'll actually. searching for some battery goo. So I'm glad I got this because mine came off and all right, that fits so much better. You can just run this in. Because it's new, it should be good. Again, I'm not trying to mess this thing up. I'm trying to see if it. Yeah. Maybe what I did was. I mean, you can see. You can see where this thing was like the form and stuff. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't start deforming this one. Now we might get a little spark here. So no spark. Sparky is not in town. Connect the ground. Actually, that was out of focus. Connect the ground and we'll run it in. Test our torque. See, it's a bit loose. All right, so those guys are on there. And next thing I'll do here is, so I got two different things right here. Focus. So I got this is a NOCO battery cleaner plus acid detector. Prolongs battery life, improves starting power. And then I got an NCP2 made in the USA. Again, a NOCO. Stops battery corrosion. Does not dry or evaporate, improves battery life, improves starting. So I want to stop any type of corrosion. So I'm not trying to detect anything. So we'll give this a shake. Then we'll just give this a little spray. I don't need too much overspray. So battery maintenance. And then the last thing that I'm gonna do off camera is I'm gonna write the date of battery on here. The date I replaced this battery, which I'm gonna use today's date because I forgot it was early this week. So we're just gonna do a once over, make sure that we got all the components connected that we intended to connect and that we had removed. So starting down there, I'm just gonna walk my way backwards. Looks like I've connected that 12mm. And just for show, I'm talking about this right here. So I've connected that 12mm. I've clipped that stuff in, clipped that in. So did that. That's on there. That's clipped in. That's clipped in, screwed in. This is connected to the bracket. This is connected to the holder. These two are connected. You know what? I'm not sure if I got the air box all the way. Actually, yeah, I did get this one. I wasn't sure if I had gotten that one. All these are snug. I got my fuse box and I got the connector connected down there. We're at an hour in and we're gonna start the car. Got my ground connected on here, all the things. Get this popped over there. I'm glad it looks original. And then we're just gonna check and make sure that we have not lost anything in here. The only thing that obviously was missing is that 10 millimeter. So lesson learned, always use a locking extension and use like maybe what do you call it? Magnetic sockets. So I'm gonna leave this camera rolling out here and I'm just gonna get in there and I'm gonna start this bad boy up. And everything should be all fine and dandy. Remove this nasty torn glove. Find my keys. First indicator is that my lights work. Stuff is clicking. So we're gonna get in there and start. Now this wasn't a very cosmetic job as far as like challenging, but it was yeah, not cosmetic. This wasn't a very cosmetic job, but it required a little bit of effort. Required a little bit of effort to change out your positive terminal because it's like whatever broken. In theory, you could get I guess you could get a clamp and reclamp this stuff if you wanted to. But I mean, for 40 bucks and how much work it takes, just get a new one. And then if you're gonna replace one, even though the ground was fine, just replace both of them. This was like 14 bucks or whatever it was at the start of the video. Like I said, tools I use, I mean, a 10 millimeter with a ratchet helps, a locking extension helps, a Phillips head screwdriver number 3, a little tray if you have it to hold small parts, a flashlight to see stuff, and then yeah, probably you want a 6, 8, 10, and 12 sockets. The 6 is that little one that you push on. So this car has been giving me issues and with a charging system basically, and I'm pretty sure it's because this positive terminal was shot. So I'm gonna monitor it and see if this thing stays on there. But all in all, it was an easy fix. It was my first time doing it. Didn't know what to expect really. I'm gonna reset my navigation code, my radio codes and all that stuff off camera because I gotta find the code. But yeah, yeah, that was all right. All right, anyway, long video. I know some people are gonna hate on it, but that's fine. You're welcome. if you find value in it. And even if you find value and you still complain, you're welcome. Anyway, like me always say, like and hate the thing.